I'm going to go to New York and the New York Times travel journalist Matt Gross, who visited Ireland recently. Matt, you said in the piece that you wrote after your visit that this famous welcome was as mythical as the leprechaun. Tell us why.
Why? That's a good question. I spent a week driving around Ireland with no maps, going to little country pubs, and strangely not meeting people. I kept hoping to have great spontaneous conversations with wonderful Irish people, and it didn't quite happen. It happened a couple times, but it didn't happen as constantly as I thought it would.
And your expectation was that people would be very warm and welcoming and friendly because that's what you had heard about here. And what you're saying is that's not what the reality was.
That's the international reputation of Ireland. It's a place where people are gabbing and talking and drinking, and it's a sort of constant party atmosphere. But I found it often kind of glum. I found it hard to even find people at all, let alone people to talk to.
Well, Matt, I think you picked a very bad day to go into a pub in Kerry, because that was the day of the All-Ireland football final. It would be like going into a pub in Manhattan when the Giants were playing in the World, you know, in the Super Bowl, or the Yankees playing in the World Series.
Exactly. Well, I wish I could have been in Cork or Down on that day, but alas, I was somewhere out in the middle of Kerry. I don't even know where.
Just to go through some of the other experiences that you had, you were keen to get hold of some local produce, bread and cheese and so on. What was your experience there?
Well, yeah, I planned to spend a lot of time hiking and walking in the countryside, and so I need to bring lunch along, stop and pick up some local bread, some local cheese. But often when I'd ask people at hotels or on the street or at pubs where to get things, they would just point me to Tesco, and it's pretty depressing. I know these cheeses and breads and everything are out there, but nobody seemed to have any idea where to get them, or maybe they just didn't care.
Matt, you think you came across the next U2 in a band called the Calvinists down in Cork? Is that true?
Yeah, I did. It was a great night. I mean, that was one of the high points of the trip, was walking into this pub and finding a great rock scene in process.
Now, Fabian has already been in touch, and he's heard your view, and he says that you're talking nonsense, that you obviously didn't socialise enough.
I don't know what to tell him. I was in pubs several times a day trying to meet people. I've had huge success doing this in other countries. People often just come up and talk to me out of nowhere, but that didn't happen in Ireland.
Well, Matt, it's great to talk to you. I think the next time you come back, maybe we'll send you out with Dáithí for the night and see how you get on.
I'm just going to say that, and believe me, and nobody will ever talk to you after that experience.
That's fine. As long as I'm friends or enemies, I don't care. As long as I'm talking to someone.
Good stuff, man. Thanks very much for taking our call today.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for having me.